Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. The internet's Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the weekly comic book roundup. Get started with War of the Realms. So we are quickly approaching the end of the War of the Realms. In fact, the concluding issue should be out next week. But let's get on with this week's tie-ins and whatnot. So, kicking things off, we've got Captain Marvel number 7. Where we left off, Enchantress had managed to body swap Captain Marvel and Doctor Strange. And actually, I really love the cover because it's actually done by two different artists, and not in the case of one drew it, one inked it. Rather, Dave Johnson drew Doctor Strange, and Amanda Connor drew Captain Marvel. Yeah. Anyway, but to prevent Doctor Strange from defeating her in South America, Enchantress mind swapped him and Captain Marvel. So now the two, who had no idea how to use the other's powers, are stuck in each other's bodies with the other's powers. So yeah. So we open up with Doctor Strange trying to explain to Carol how to use the magic that he can, and Captain Marvel's trying to get Doctor Strange to to utilize her energy powers. And there's some limited successes. There's no real failures. Just like I said, small victories. And and then, of course, there's Black Widow, who's along for the ride because, well, yeah. But at one point, Black Widow beats up an alligator and kills it because, well, they need to eat. Or crocodile. It's crocodile, not an alligator. Crocodile, my bad. But yeah. We get to the big battle in Rio, and we see... Let's see... No, okay. Everyone's up against... everyone's there. SpiderMan's there. I think that's supposed to be Balder that's there. Ghost Rider's there. And so, Captain Marvel has an idea and basically turns Enchantress's undead army against itself. And so, now she's having to focus much more energy on her undead army rather than keeping Carolyn's Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange body swapped. So they're back to their bodies, and yeah, day is saved. And Carol's next priority is the Queen of Cinders. And Black Widow definitely wants a break from both Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel. Tells them not to call her, she'll call them. Anyways, at the end of the issue ends with Captain Marvel and her cat in her apartment. She's having her morning coffee, and then she coughs into a rag. As she leaves the room, we see the rag on the table. It looks like she's caught blood into it. That's going to be another. That's going to be another story for another issue. Next up, we've got Champions number 6. Where we left off, the Champions were embroiled in the War of the Realms all over the damn place. Because, well, everyone is at this point. They just received some help from founding member Cyclops, all grown up now. So we open up in Brazil. They're also operating in South America. We learn that Enchantress has got herself some allies. The Disir, who are outlaw Valkyrie warriors cast out from Asgard who serve Hela, the Queen of Hell. And the Enchantress has promised the Disir freedom and title if they slay her enemies, but they must do so in secret. If Hela discovers their betrayal, the punishment will be most severe. Anyways, they get targeted at the Champions, who are trying to save lives. And so the Disir duke out with the Champions. And Power Man gets run through. But that's kind of a good thing. That kind of helps for him, actually. His power coming from ambient chi energy, spirits, culture, magic. Which means the sword that he's been run through with is all about that, and it doesn't hurt him, really. It pumps him up. So he actually ends up becoming giant size, and so the Champions just wail on the Disir, and the Disir gets sent back to Hell. 1L, Hell, not 2L. Right at the feet of Carnilla and Hela, the Queens of Hell. Brun, the leader of the Disir, says basically, we'll make amends. When all's said and done, Miss Marvel, however, decides that she can't lead the Champions anymore. That is where the issue ends. Next up, we're moving on from South America to Australia in Deadpool number 14. So where we left off with Deadpool, he had been sent down to Australia to help some of the heroes there, to help out with the troll infestation. And so, Nancy Nuke, Captain Outback, and Tasmanian Devil, or for other purposes, Jean, just go after the trolls, and yeah, of course things go briefly to pot, but the deaths of the people they just saved kind of sort of put Deadpool out of it. You know, it's like, what's the point? And then he runs into Daredevil, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist beating up trolls just a little ways over. Jean's not actually too happy because, well, yeah, his legal situation. So the fight continues. There is a joke made when Jean and Daredevil, as Jean wears a costume very similar to Daredevil's, just doesn't have the two Ds. Jean tries to talk to him, and Daredevil simply implies that, you know, probably best to just deal with the trolls and not talk to one another without attorneys present. So they continue the fighting. And Cage gives Deadpool an idea. He mentions that, they've been better off making a deal with the Ring of the Lords tours over in New Zealand. Because then, and Iron Fist says, yeah, we got real live trolls, see? Yes, Ring of the Lords, not Lord of the Rings, I swear. So, Deadpool gets an idea. Goes and talks to Ulik. Talks about the Ring of the Lords tour, and, like, hey, no more killing. Live it up as part of the interactive tours. No battles, no dying. Everyone they're given sanctuary, all the food and land they need, and treated like a king. And it works. However, Ulik explains that he's Ulik the Conquerable. And his phase was just the first phase of the invasion, where he was to pave the way for Ulik the Unconquerable. And it turns out that Ulik is like Joe for trolls, so yeah. More troll fighting. But Wade's Blackbird shows up and he pieces out. It's like, later, nerds. And we have another one of those odd little one-page stories, one-page backups that we had at least last week, if not also the week before. This time, Wade's having dreams about symbiotes. In fact, the 4 that were once all bonded to it with him. He then wakes up from it, though, and there's a news story about a family of 4, a missing family of 4 having their car being found early in the morning. But I'm sure it has nothing at all to do with the symbiotes or the upcoming Absolute Carnage story. Nothing at all, I'm sure of it. I mean, no one sets things up like this. No one. Anyways, moving on to our actual tie-ins. We've got World's Realms Journey into Mystery number 5. Which, okay, technically it's just Journey into Mystery and is, in all honesty, technically issue number 660 of Journey into Mystery. So yeah. So where we left off, our heroes got into a bit of a rumble in at Henchfest in Carson City. But while everyone was distracted with that, Ares caught up with them and kidnapped Lausa. So he's on the road with his hell rig. And but Wonder Man has managed to get next to the vehicle and rip off the door and save Lausa. And he just became the defender. Explaining he's now a pacifist, so he's not going to fight Ares. Though Simon does admit that Ares is really testing the whole pacifistic convictions at the moment. Turns out that SpiderMan is also there. His camouflage ability. He's apparently cloaked and riding on Wonder Man's back the whole time. The rest of the team arrives and they duke it out. However, the fire demons that were in the rig, that were in the rig with Ares, get loose, and so they take on the fire demons. And Druid shoves Lausa into his jacket. And explaining he's not entirely sure where she is, but he hopes that she's in a really small but tidy apartment in Flagstaff, Arizona. To be fair, I like Druid a lot more than I liked his dad. Balder and Ares had themselves a fight. And when all is said and done, Balder manages to win. However, turns out that it wasn't really the Queen of Cinders that had been talking to him. Turns out that initially, yes, the Queen of Cinders did send Ares after them. But due to what's going on in Age of Atlas, she's had to focus on other battlefronts. So, Kushala, Demon Rider, was posing as the Queen of Cinders. And kind of, pushed everything in a specific direction. And it turns out all along what Laos has been doing is gathering an army. And basically everyone that we've seen thus far, everyone they've run into in their misadventure, shows up to help. The Skrulls, the Henchmen, the Old West Ghosts, all of them. And so they managed to recruit Thor or Ares to their side, and Drew explains to Ares, as backstory time, Druid was a member of the Secret Warriors, Nick Fury's little strike team about a decade or so ago. Also on the Secret Warriors was Phobos, Alexander, the son of Ares. And so, Drew explains that he knew Alex because they were in the Secret Warriors together. Kind of a jerk, like a lot of 11-year-olds, but he was one of the good guys, and he would want his father on the side of the Angels. Anyway, so they go off and they get Deathlock's helicarrier. And they go to Avengers Mountain, apparently. So the Skrulls are in their RVs in the mountain's gut. The ghosts are riding around the top of the head. The henches are in a hangar bay, which all the hangars are in the fingers. So 3 guesses which one they chose. But yeah. It's all leading towards our big conclusion next week in War of the Realms #6. Moving on to Spider-Man and the League of Realms, featuring the other Spider-Man. Where we left off here, Spider-Man had somewhat managed to turn the tide with the at least one group of War Angels. And apparently, because for some reason I didn't get it this week, this takes place after War Scrolls number 3, so we're getting a little bit of spoiler. But really, I mean, like Thor was really, or like Daredevil was really gonna get killed by Curse. Come on. So first we get a little bit of exposition from Wazira of the Dark Elves. She fought alongside Thor and the rest of the League of the Realms. Then she agreed to be Malekith's proxy in Nastrod prison. However, Malekith freed her and then forced Algrim the Strong, who used to be Curse, to take her place. And Malekith had also, it turns out, taken the power of Curse from Algrim and given it to Wazira. And apparently in War Scrolls number 3, she managed to regain her consciousness from inside, but she still remains under Malekith's control. And so she's trying to get the War of the Realms, or the League of Realms, to kill her. So, Spidey, Fernand, the rest of the League of Realms show up to back up Honeyshot, Screwbeard, and Ud. But yeah, they try to stop Curse. But Rogue Blood is trying to find a way to magic around the Curse armor, power, whatever. And in fact, Rogue discovers the identity of who's in Curse. So Curse and Fernand fight, both wanting the other to kill them. So they duke it out for a while. But yeah, eventually they do manage to free Wazira. But like I said, everything is leading right up to War of the Realms number 6, which, to be perfectly honest, if we're going by the track record of the rest of this event, we'll totally be out in time for on time next week. So I'm not really all that worried. Maybe a little. I mean, I've seen things happen where, you know, everything's going great, and then like, oh, never mind. Give me another couple weeks or so, and I'll have everything out on time. But yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem this time around. So that's it for the War of the Realms portion of the roundup. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts on War of the Realms so far, or whatever else you would want to say. Whatever else you want to talk about in the comments. links to my hit the notification bell to be notified when I put new content. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon are in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.